everyone, this is Jamie Castillo, and this is my video presentation on my experience at Long Beach City College for my internship hours. Going to slide 2, my introduction. I originally wanted to work at a community college because that's where I played sports. I didn't go to a 4-year, so I know after completing this program at APU, I either want to become an aquatics coordinator or director or be an athletic director at the end point of my career. So because I work with the YMCA and I work with aquatics in that sense, I feel like I already had a lot of experience there. I did want to dip my toes into understanding how the collegiate athletics worked, especially at the community college level, which is why I reached out to Long Beach. So I started working at Long Beach towards the middle of October, and I got to work with Randy Tutor, who is the athletic director there at LBCC. He also completed his master's with APU through our program, so that was pretty cool to have that connection with him. And then something else was that he has previously worked at El Camino College, so that was pretty cool to see as well. Moving forward, I was able to attend many of the home games. We had it set up that I would work Monday through Friday from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. And of course, those hours definitely changed a little bit depending on the home games that we have. But I got to work with a long list of different department heads that I will touch base on in later slides. Moving on to slide 3, the strengths. There was so many strengths for this internship. Like I said before, I got to work with a bunch of different department heads within the athletic department realm. So the athletic director, the sports informational director, the athletic specialist, and the athletic coordinator. And of course, there's other classified jobs that were a little bit smaller, such as the women's locker room attendant, men's locker room attendant, what we call equipment managers, so they set up all the different home games, the athletic trainer, and the athletic counselor. So there's a lot of different lists, and I got to work with all of them. Going into the internship, I had told Randy that I didn't have experience in almost anything. I did have athletic administration, but there was so much more to this department that I didn't know of. I had the understanding that a lot of schools don't get a lot of budgeting to hire many people, so I wanted to see how one person did so many jobs, and so that was also really cool to see. Even though at Long Beach City College they're a little bit more progressive, where they do have a lot of personnel within their department. I got to see how a typical outline of their day goes, from like meetings to meetings to meetings, all the phone calls that kind of come in, who they talk to. I got to know and understand how all the coaching works. It's definitely different from high school athletics, in my opinion, because I got to be a high school coach, and to club athletics, like how I am with the YMCA. So coaches were always coming in and giving money, and so one of the strengths was that I don't really know budgeting. So getting to work with the athletic specialist and understanding how the budget works, so with transportation, with overnight stays, with reimbursement of coaches' funding, all of that kind of comes into play. So it was really cool. I got to understand the chain of command. Like, if a coach came and they had an issue, did it go to the athletic director or did it go to the athletic specialist? Seeing how all those roles play around. And one of the big examples was that we have an athletic coordinator, and so she pretty much helped the students who were kind of slacking on their grades or who were having trouble with their grades. So she also helped promote them. So she had a software that not only like pinged the professor, like, this athlete's in danger of failing, how can we help them? It pinged the student athlete, like, you're not doing so good in this class, you need to see how you can do better. And they would either notify the parents if the parents were involved in their life like that. These are young adults, so it wasn't 100% always the case. And they would also contact the athletic counselor, who helps them with their grades, like, well, if you can't get in this one, maybe we should go this route. And as well as the coach, because they had a GPA that was lower than the eligibility, they wouldn't be able to move forward, and they wouldn't be able to play, or if they dropped below the number of units, then they wouldn't get to play. Another huge strength was I was given several different projects, but I'm going to talk about those in the opportunity section. Going on to slide 4 were the weaknesses. I don't feel like there was a lot of weaknesses. The primary one was being very pressed for hours. So I didn't get to start my internship until the middle of fall, and that's because getting the process approved and the contracts approved between LBCC and APU was definitely long. And understanding that those are, one, very important, that you have to make sure everything is 100% correct, is important, and then two, having to check up on everything, because every department's extremely busy and sometimes things kind of fall through. So because of that, I didn't get to start my internship until the middle of the fall semester, so most of the teams were already either completing their season, had already completed their season, or attending their postseason. So I pretty much missed the beginning of fall, which was pretty upsetting for me, because I wanted to grow with the athletes, or kind of see how the teams progressed throughout the season. I was also given the opportunity to help work football games, but because I started so late, I was only able to attend one. And there was so much information I wanted to grasp that I couldn't grasp everything in just one setting. Moving forward with that, I also had pressures from work. Unfortunately, once my internship did start, my work was also demanding me to be more participative here. So they were demanding more hours from me, wanting me to cover a lot of shifts that I really couldn't do because I was interning. So having those pressures and kind of being stressed out about it did weaken my enjoyment, and it did cause a little bit of heartache and headache. So those were the weaknesses, things that I definitely got past, and I was able to progress anyways. Going on to slide 5, the opportunities. Like I said, there's a slew of great opportunities. So I got to work primarily with the athletic director and the sports informational director. And it was super cool because I didn't understand what an SID was. I just thought they were an individual who worked with social media. That is by far not the case. They attend all the home games, they help take stats, they take pictures, they write articles, they reach out to different people. There is a long list of stuff they have to do. I did get to work the one football game. Football is obviously a huge component of athletics, especially for college. And so being able to work that and getting at least some experiences, I was able to call the football game, which means I got to use binoculars and see who made the play, where the ball was caught, who tackled, where they were tackled at, who made the touchdown, all these different stat components. So that way I called the game, the SID would enter the stats live onto a computer system. So that way they were uploaded, and then other colleges, fans, SIDs would be able to access them on spot. I did attend numerous soccer games, volleyball games, and basketball games. Basketball's in the winter, so I did get to see the start of it, but my internship won't be continuing for their postseason, so that's unfortunate. I did get to meet the athletic coordinator from Compton College. They hire her as the volleyball stats person because that's such a fast-paced game, and the SID at Long Beach hasn't quite learned the software program where the Compton College coordinator has. So getting to know her and kind of networking a little bit has definitely benefited me. And then also I got to work with other colleges, and especially the SIDs at other colleges, because they would attend our home games to take pictures and stats and whatnot. One of the other big projects was that I got to create the student athlete handbook for 2019-2020. They've never had one at Long Beach City College, or at least not recently. So I was able to do all the research, implement it. It's currently going through the athletic counselor right now, kind of getting the approval of maybe there's things to be added, things to take out, things to correct, different aspects like that. And then it's going to go to the athletic coordinator to get another set of approval, but that will happen once I'm gone. So that's pretty cool. My name will get to be on it, kind of. Another part was I created an interactive flyer. So it could be printed out and manually written on, or it could be emailed. And so the person, like a potential sponsor or person donating, could open the email, type in all their information into the PDF file, click how they're going to sponsor, and it would total up the amount at the bottom of payment. And so that was pretty cool because then they wouldn't have to do the math themselves. And then they can just like send the saved PDF file over. Being able to do that, Randy actually took that concept, took it to a convention through the 3C2A and let everyone know kind of like my name and how it went out. So not that people got to meet me directly, but they have heard of me and were able to kind of put my works into play. So that was an amazing opportunity as well. Moving on to slide 6, the threats. I don't believe there is a lot of threats. I think a lot of them are internally. So one, realizing that the industry is forever changing. Nothing ever stays the same. And that means like your job is there, your job could be gone. You have to always be impressing. Like you can't just ever slack off. You have to constantly be showing that you're worth it. Because otherwise they'll let you go. And that goes for coaching, that goes for athletic directors, that goes for SIDs, for everyone. And then also knowing how the jobs, like the current job alignment in the different community colleges, everybody's going to apply for the positions, but not everyone's going to get them because like the industry is always changing. There's jobs opening up left and right. And then also knowing that your limited experience doesn't help you. Even though I have an athletic administration experience, doesn't necessarily transpose to collegiate athletics. So knowing like how your experience is and what your experience is experienced in does play a role. Going to slide 7, values, faiths, and beliefs. This was a little bit tricky for me, as in like I kind of come in knowing who I am, my values, my faiths, and my beliefs. I'm a Catholic Christian. I believe in doing everything out of love, and the reason why I wanted to get into sports is because I wanted to help athletes. I felt as myself going into sports, I didn't have a lot of people who helped me, which is originally why I wanted to be an athletic trainer. There just wasn't that need, I guess, to have those people in my life. So now looking at it, like I want to help other student athletes, whether that's progressing their sports career or progressing their academic career, because you're not going to get to play sports forever. That's just how it goes. And so, getting them that educational basis, but also encouraging them to continue to compete. Another thing was that, I needed to show up and be prompt and be professional. So I really worked on my attire. I come from a very laid-back professional background, so jeans was always appropriate. Where here, I, did dress up a little bit nicer, had slacks on, a nice blouse. That's how I wanted to be. Knowing the different job duties, doing my job duties professionally, and then exceeding at them. I didn't want to turn something in and then be like, oh, this is good, this is how you correct it. I wanted to be like, this is amazing, this is going a different direction than I thought, but it's better than I thought. And then showing that I was committed. Like I said before, Randy didn't assume that I was going to be an amazing intern, but I have proved and changed his mind otherwise. So that was part of my faith and values. Like, you want to oversell yourself. You're always selling yourself. You want to oversell. Going to page 8 is the strength finders result. So my 5 strengths as developer, wanting to help others succeed. I think that's why I want to work with student athletes so much, is because I can see their potential, whether that's academics or that's athletics, wanting them to just be better than their current state, by promoting them, by encouraging them, by showing positivity. My beliefs, I have very strong morals, and when I sway from them, I realize that I get very upset, very anxious. So going with my beliefs, making sure I don't ever sway from them. The sense of blue. I think this is really cool because as an athletic director, you need to attract others, whether that's your own staff or other colleges. You need to kind of bring them in, bring in the vendors, bring in the people who are going to help donate money to help your athletes. And I used that to kind of win over the staff there, because they were kind of like, cool, we have an intern, but then now they kind of enjoy me being there. Communication. Communication is key because there's so many different staff heads. you need to be able to constantly let them know. So I did get most of the people's emails. I was constantly in contact with HR when I was getting my approval part done, constantly in contact with the ADs on the different projects I was working on, and especially the SID when I was going to help out at home games. And last thing, connectedness, knowing that everything happens for a reason. And I think by understanding this, I was able to know how the chain of command, how the communication process works as well, and why students need to be the way they need to be, like why the academic scheduling and the eligibility requirements are all put into place. And then lastly, on page 9, or slide 9, my internship duties. So I did get to work on a lot of different projects. Like I said earlier, I got to work on that student athlete handbook. I got to work on that interactive fillable PDF file. And then I also created a bunch of different Excel sheets, one of which Randy is one of the board directors for the 3C2A. So when he goes to the meetings, a lot of the coaches are like, we want more contests. Well, I have found out that there's a set standard of what is approved contests. So let's say for baseball, their average is about 53. So they can't compete more than that at any kind of game level. They can do scrimmages for the most part, but they can't go above that. Football, usually the number is like 11 to 15-ish, depending on which group you're in. And so 3C2A coaches come in like, we want more contests. Well, then Randy had me create a file that showed these are the other, so like the NCAA, the NAIA, and different other community college functions. They all looked at those and been like, okay, well, this is appropriate. This is what we have. We want to match them. Either that's going to be bringing more contests or maybe staying the same, depending on how the upper division athletics works. I did get to make phone calls on behalf of the AD, so getting to learn how to be a little bit professional on the phone. I do have experience, so that wasn't too hard. And then lastly, assisting the SID, so going to the home games, taking pictures, editing pictures, uploading pictures, writing different game articles and game notes. So those are most of my duties that I'd come in for a few hours each day and do those. And on my downtime, I would work on the big projects such as the handbook. But that was pretty much my experience at Long Beach City College. I absolutely loved it. If there's any other people who are interested in doing an internship, I would definitely reach out to them and see if they had anything available, because there's so many opportunities to do while you're there, and they definitely helped me realize how much broader and how much even bigger the sports industry really is. So I hope you guys all have a good time, and I look forward to hearing